Now I'm talking about biodiversity hotspot. Hotspot are a species is most threatened reservoir of plant and animals on Earth. Norman Mayers was the first person who developed the hotspot concept to designate priority areas for in situ conservation in 1988. Number of endemic species and degree of threat are two key criteria for determining a hotspot. Till date, 34 hotspots have been identified that cover about less than 2% of the Earth's land area. However, the number of species that they collectively harbor is extremely high, and strict protection of these hotspots could reduce the ongoing mass extinction by almost 30%. Western Ghat and Eastern Himalayas are two important hotspots situated in India. Both the hotspots are rich in reptiles, amphibians, swallow-tailed butterflies, and some mammals. These hotspots are the region of accelerated habitat loss. तो हॉटस्पॉट स्पीशीज़ रिच एरिया प्लांट के और एनिमल के स्टोर हाउस होते हैं, जिसमें काफ़ी स्पीशीज़ जो हैं वो ऐसी होती हैं जो गायब होने की कगार पे होती हैं, एंडेमिक होती हैं। और सबसे पहले जो कंसेप्ट दिया था हाँ हॉटस्पॉट का, वो नॉर्मन मेयर ने 1988 में दिया था। और आज की डेट में 34 हॉट स्पॉट जो हैं वो आइडेंटिफाई किए गए हैं। लेस देन 2% ऑफ अर्थ लैंड एरिया में ये सिचुएटेड हैं। और वेस्टर्न घाट और ईस्टर्न हिमालय जो दो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हॉट स्पॉट हैं जो इंडिया में लोकेटेड हैं, और इनमें रेप्टाइल्स हैं, एम्फीबियंस हैं, शैलो टेल बटरफ्लाइज हैं और कुछ मैमल्स भी हैं। Now I'm talking about Red Data Book. The Red Data Book is the state document established for documenting rare and endangered species of animals, plants and fungi, as well as some local subspecies that exist within the territory of the state or country. This book provides central information for studies and monitoring programs on rare and endangered species and their habitat. तो रेड डाटा बुक एक पब्लिक डॉक्यूमेंट है जो कि क्रिएट किया गया है रिकॉर्डिंग करने के लिए एंड डेजर्ट और रेयर स्पीशीज़ की प्लांट के लिए प्लांट एनिमल फंजाई, इसके अलावा कुछ लोकल सब स्पीशीज़ जो कि प्रेजेंट होती है पर्टिकुलर रीजन में, उसके लिए उसके बारे में रेड डाटा बुक जो है इंफॉर्मेशन देती है। तो ये एक स्टेट डॉक्यूमेंट है और इसमें रेयर और इंडेंजर्ड स्पीशीज़ एनिमल्स की, प्लांट फंजाई की, इसके अलावा कुछ लोकल सब स्पीशीज़ जो हैं उनके बारे में बात की गई है। ये बुक जो है वो प्रोवाइड करती है इंफॉर्मेशन स्टडी करने के लिए और मॉनिटर करने के लिए जो प्रोग्राम रेयर होते हैं इंडेंजर्ड स्पीशीज़ और उनके हैबिटेट के बारे में। नाउ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट इन सिचू एंड एक्स सिचू कंजर्वेशन. In situ conservation means maintaining plant diversity in natural reserve. It protects the species threatened with loss or extinction, supply material to restore degraded lands, and provide material for genetic improvement of crop plant. It is mostly done by establishing biosphere reserve, national parks, and wildlife sanctuaries. In situ conservation allow animal population to continue evolving in their natural environment. तो इन सिचू कंजर्वेशन का मतलब होता है ऑन साइट कंजर्वेशन, जबकि एक्स सिचू कंजर्वेशन होता है ऑफ साइट कंजर्वेशन. एक्स सिचू कंजर्वेशन क्या है? द कल्टीवेशन ऑफ सिलेक्टेड और रेयर प्लांट्स इन बॉटनिकल गार्डन्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूट एक्स सिचू कंजर्वेशन. Beside the primary repositories for wild plants, botanical gardens have a crucial role both in conservation and education. As for instance, some plants like ginkgo tree, that is Ginkgo biloba, known as a living fossil, has become so common simply because its multiplication was taken by gardeners. Now I am talking about biosphere reserves. Biosphere reserves are multi-purpose protected area to preserve the genetic diversity in representative ecosystem. The program was launched by UNESCO in 1971 under Man and Biosphere, that is MAB program. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है इसके बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व के? टू कंजर्व बायोडाइवर्सिटी एंड इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ प्लांट, एनिमल्स एंड माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म, to promote research on ecological conservation and other environmental aspects, to provide facility for education, awareness and training, to promote appropriate sustainable management of the living resources, to disseminate the experience so as to promote sustainable development elsewhere, to promote international cooperation. तो नंबर ऑफ बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व की बात करें तो बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व प्रोग्राम इज़ एन एक्सीलेंट मेथड फॉर इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ वर्ल्ड कंजर्वेशन स्ट्रेटजी. टुडे there are about 356 biosphere reserve in the world, spread over 90 countries and covering an area of over 115 million hectares. In India, till 2008, 15 biosphere reserve have been set up, with Nilgiri, Nanda Devi and so on. तो ये प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज़ इन इंडिया के अंदर आता है बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व. इंडिया इज़ अ कंट्री ऑफ वास्ट जियोग्राफिकल एक्सटेंट. इट कवर्स एन एरिया ऑफ अबाउट 3.2 million square meter, extending from the snow-covered Himalayan heights to tropical rainforest of the south, with a wide range of climatic conditions from torrid to Arctic. India has a rich and varied vegetation. It is estimated that there are about 45,000 species of plant, which represent 7% of world flora. The vascular flora, which forms clear vegetation cover, comprises 17,000 species. Of these, more than 35% are endemic, that is, they are confined only to India and do not occur in any other part of the world. Besides, there is also great diversity of fauna in India. Over 89,451 species found in India represented 6.5% of world fauna. Special efforts are being made to protect and conserve plant and animals to maintain the ecological balance. Bird sanctuaries, wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, and more recently biosphere reserve have been set up to protect animal and biological diversity at large. Now I am talking about national park. A national park is an area which is strictly reserved for the betterment of the wildlife and where activities such as forestry, grazing and cultivation are not permitted. In India, there are 110 national parks covering more than an area of 40,501 square kilometer, nearly 1.23% of the country's geographical area. State-wise breakup of national park is classified. Now I am talking about sanctuary. A sanctuary is an area where protection is given especially to the fauna, and operation like harvesting of timber and collection of minor forest products is permitted as long as it does not interfere with the well-being of animals. In contrast to national park, private ownership rights are allowed in a sanctuary. In India, there are about 543 sanctuaries covering more than an area of 1,60,800 square kilometer, nearly 4% of the country's total area. State-wise breakup of sanctuaries are classified. Now I'm talking about scared groves. Scared groves are tracts of forest that have been completely immune from human interference on the basis of religious belief. Such scared groups are found in Kashi and Jaintia Hills in Meghalaya, Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan, Western Ghat region of Karnataka and Maharashtra, and the Sarguja, Canada and Bastar area of Madhya Pradesh. Ficus religiosa, Saroca ecoca, Soria robusta and Altissonia scoloralis are important trees usually preserved in Indian scared groves. तो शेयर ग्रुप वो ट्रैक्ट होते हैं फॉरेस्ट के जिनमें जो कम्प्लीटली इम्यून कर दिए जाते हैं ह्यूमन इंटरफेरेंस से ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिलीजियस बिलीफ के आधार पे। तो स्केयर ग्रुप वो ट्रीज़ हैं जो कंसीडर होते हैं सोशली, कल्चरली, मेडिसिनली। और कॉमन एग्जांपल स्केयर ग्रुप के फाइकस रिलीजोसा यानी पीपल ट्री आता है इसमें, फाइकस बैंगलियंसिस बैनियन ट्री इसमें आता है। एंड नाउ आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट बॉटनिकल गार्डन्स। Botanical garden is well-tended area displaying a wide range of plant labeled with their botanical names. It may contain special plant collection from a particular part of the world. In principle, their role is to maintain documented collection of living plants for the purpose of scientific research, conservation, display and education. तो बॉटनिकल गार्डन्स के बाद हम बात करते हैं सफारी की। वाइल्ड लाइफ सफारी इज़ अ सफारी पार्क. It is home to hundreds of animals that wander freely around in their natural habitat. It often refers to trips to observe and photograph wildlife or hiking and sightseeing as well. Indian safaris are anything but tame elephants, rhinos, reptiles, bears and wild dog roam the lush rainforest. Now I am talking about seed bank. The storage of material in the form of seed is one of the most widespread and valuable ex situ approach to conservation. A seed bank stores seed to preserve genetic diversity. Extensive expertise that have been developed in the field by agencies and institutions involved with plant genetic resources over the past 30 years. Seed banking has considerable advantage over other method of ex situ conservation such as ease of storage, economy of space, relatively low labor demand and consequently the capacity to maintain large samples at an economically viable cost. There are currently about 1400 seed bank around the world, so which seed get chosen for storage varies from location to location. Botanic garden in many countries have developed seed banks for the storage of seed, mainly of wild species. At present, there are 400 botanical gardens that have seed bank maintaining seed in long-term and medium-sized storage. Several botanical gardens have developed the capacity to store isolated embryos, minute seed and tissue under condition of cryopreservation, maintaining sample in liquid nitrogen at temperature of -196 degrees Celsius. Such technique offers great potential for the maintenance and conservation of biodiversity, particularly plant species that cannot be stored by conventional means. Now I am talking about cryopreservation. Proper germplasm storage have valuable application in agriculture and industry. Some technique involve storage in the growing stage, whereas other relate to the suspension of growth. Growth limitation typically remains effective for culture to be stored for about a year, and such culture require periodic renewal. Cryopreservation is very useful method which often can store material for virtually indefinite periods. Cryopreservation of isolated plant protoplasm is quite useful. In order to freeze germplasm for long-term storage, it is first dehydrated with the help of cryoprotectant like glycerol, dimethyl sulfoxide, DMSO, etc. Thereafter, they are cooled very slowly from room temperature to -38 degrees Celsius. The germplasm is then plunged into liquid nitrogen -196 degrees Celsius and stored for long-term use. Thus, cryopreservation is a process where cell or whole tissue are preserved by cooling it to low sub-zero temperatures such as -196 degrees Celsius. तो क्रायोप्रिजर्वेशन एक ऐसी प्रोसेस है जिसमें किसी सेल या पूरे टिश्यू को बहुत कम टेम्परेचर पे ठंडे में इसको प्रिजर्व किया जाता है, फॉर एग्जांपल -196 डिग्री सेल्सियस टेम्परेचर पे. At these low temperature, any biological activity including the biochemical reaction that would lead to cell death is effectively stopped. कोई एक्टिविटी नहीं होती उस समय प्लांट के अंदर, टिश्यू और सेल के अंदर. By cryopreservation, both plant and animal germs germplasm can be stored. Even cryopreservation is feasible method for storing zygotic as well as somatic embryos. Now I'm talking about gene germplasm banks. A gene bank is an institution where valuable plant material likely to be irretrievably lost in the wild or in cultivation is preserved in a viable condition. Gene bank conserve stock of both seed and vegetative material. The stored germplasm not only safeguard the species threatened with loss or extinction, but it is also actively utilized the world over by breeders to develop a novel varieties. Gene bank mainly include botanical gardens, genetic resources center, culture collection, etc. For plant species, seed, pollen grains, vegetative propagative parts like combs, bulbs, tuber, etc., tissue, etc., are collected and stored in germplasm bank. Most convenient way of maintaining plant germplasm is by storing seed. Seed of the most plant species are stored cold dry condition in seed bag for a long period and when required are germinated to raise new plants. Usually the moisture content of seed is reduced and is maintained at 5%. If dried, further seed may be damaged. Temperature is usually maintained at -1 to -20 degrees Celsius in seed bank. Now I am talking about Ramsar sites. Ramsar sites are those wetland which are international importance to develop and maintain an international network of wetland which are important for the conservation of global biological diversity and for sustaining human life through the maintenance of their ecosystem components, process and benefit services. These sites are identified. There are over 2008 Ramsar sites on the territories of over 169 Ramsar contracting parties across the world, covering over 210,734,269.45 hectare. The country with the highest number of Ramsar sites is the United Kingdom at 170 and the country with the greatest area of wetland is Bolivia with over 1,40,000 kilometers square. 26 sites have been designated as Ramsar site in India. 6 more wetland and under process of being designated as Ramsar site according to WWF India. Wetland are one of the most threatened of all ecosystem in India. Loss of vegetation, salinization, excessive inundation, water pollution, invasive species, excessive development and road building have all damaged the country's wetlands. Some important Ramsar sites are India are Bhoj wetland MP designated 2002 area 32 kilometers square. Wular Lake Jammu and Kashmir 1990 area 189 kilometers square. Ramsar sites criteria: Group A site containing representative, rare or unique wetland types. A wetland should be considered internationally important. Criteria 1. If it contains a representative, rare or unique example of a natural or near natural wet and type found with the appropriate biogeographical region. Group B site of international importance for conserving biological diversity. Criteria 2. It should support vulnerable, endangered or critically endangered species or threatened ecological communities. Criterion 3. It should support population of plant and or animal species important for maintaining the biological diversity of a particular biogeographic region. Criterion 4. It should support plant and or animal species at a critical stage in their life cycle or provide refuge during adverse condition. Criterion 5. It should regularly support a 20,000 or more water birds. Criterion 6. It should regularly support 1% of individual in a population of one species or substance of water bird. Criterion 7, it should support a significant proportion of indigenous fishes, subspecies, species or families, life history stage, species interaction and or population that are representative of wetland benefits and or values and thereby contribute to global biological diversity. Criterion 8, it is important source of food for fishes, spawning ground, nursery and or migration path, or which food fish stock either within the wetland or elsewhere depend. Criterion 9, it should regularly support 1% of the individual in population of one species or substance or wetland depend non avian animal species. Now I am talking about Earth Summit. The United Nations Conference on Environment and Development UNCED, also known as Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit, and Earth Summit was held at Rio de Janeiro, the capital of Brazil, between 3 and 14 June 1992 to ensure relationship between environment and development on a global partnership level. It was a historic largest assembly of world leaders ever, in which representatives from more than 172 countries, including 116 heads of state and government, participated. The issue addressed as the summit included systematic scrutiny of patterns of production, particularly the production of toxic components such as lead in gasoline or poisonous waste, including radioactive chemicals, alternative source of energy to replace the use of fossil fuel, which delegates like to global climate change, new reliance on public transportation system in order to reduce vehicle emissions, congestion in cities and health problems caused by polluted air, water and smoke, the growing uses and limited supply of water. An important achievement of the summit was an agreement on the climate change convention, which in turn lead to the Kyoto Protocol and Paris Agreement. Moreover, the Convention on Biological Diversity was opened for signature at the Earth Summit. In order to ensure compliance to the agreement at Rio, delegates to the Earth Summit established the Commission on Sustainable Development, that is CSD. Earth Summits influenced all subsequent UN conferences which have examined the relationship between human rights, population, social development, women and human settlement and need for environmentally sustainable development. The Earth Summit resulted three important agreements as Agenda 1, a comprehensive program of action for global action in all areas of sustainable development. The Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, a series of principles defining the rights and responsibility of a state. The State of Forest Principle, a set of principles to underlie the sustainable management of forests worldwide. In 2012, the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development was also held in Rio and is also commonly called Rio Plus 20 or Rio Earth Summit 2012. It was held from 13 to 22 June. Now I am talking about World Summit or Sustainable Development, WWSD. United Nations World Summit on Sustainable Development, WWSD, was held in Johannesburg, South Africa from 26 August to 4 September 2002. About 21,000 delegates, including 104 head of state and government, tried to bridge the gap between the poor and rich of the world. Unlike Earth Summit, no any roadmap for sustainable development like Agenda 1 or Global Convention was made at this summit. In fact, this was meant to a conference of action, a summit to set deadlines to come out with a plan of implementation for the promises made at Rio de Janeiro, settling deadlines on poverty eradication, health, water and sanitation, agriculture, fisheries, energy, biodiversity and climate change are highlights of the summit. Now I'm talking about excessive conservation is the technique of conservation of all levels of biological diversity outside their natural habitat through different techniques like zoo, captive breeding, aquarium, botanical garden and gene bank. So captive breeding, also known as captive propagation, it is the process of maintaining plant or animals in controlled environments such as wildlife reserves, zoo, botanic gardens and other conservation. More recent captive breeding success stories include the California condor, black-footed feeder, golden loin, and red wolf. In order to survive once released, animals must be taught basic survival skills. Captive breeding means that members of a wild species are captured, that bred and raised in a